Imagine stopping a war with a knight, a rook, and a pawn. You won't believe the power of chess. Welcome to another episode of Fascinating History. Our story today unwinds in the early years of the 13th century, nestled in the corridors of the medieval courts of Europe. Europe was a land steeped in power struggles, where kings clawed for supremacy and territories were chessboards of conquest. Yet amid these turbulent times, a simple game emerged as a harbinger of peace. Chess, the medieval metaphor for war, was not just a game, but a reflection of the feudal hierarchies that ruled the land. The board represented a kingdom, the pieces its subjects, each with roles shaped by centuries of tradition. The king was all-important, yet vulnerable. The queen powerful and dynamic, and the pawns, simple foot soldiers in a grand strategy. Enter King Alfonso VIII of Castile. A monarch of ambitious dreams, he sought to unify the Spanish kingdoms under his banner. A strategist by heart, Alfonso loved the game of chess, not for leisure, but as a mental exercise, mirroring the sharp machinations of his mind. It was said he could play a game longer than any battle he had fought. Opposite him was King Philip II of France, a ruler with an astute political mind described as cunning, swift, and adaptable. Philip had his eyes set on the rich lands of Iberia, and competition with Alfonso was inevitable. However, little did he know that chess would become the medium to alter his militant path. The stakes were high: territories, power, prestige. Alfonso had proposed a grand alliance with Philip, but talks soon stalled as tensions thickened over territorial ambitions. The armies were on the brink of confrontation in the lands of Navarre. A cold, tense stalemate ensued, each side reluctant to fire the first volley that would plunge Europe into another long war. It is in this charged atmosphere that their mutual advisor, Rodrigo, a savvy diplomat and chess enthusiast who understood the psyche of both kings, proposed a radical yet simple solution. Why not settle their disputes on the chessboard rather than the battlefield? Rodrigo's proposal was met with skepticism, yet curiosity. The two kings, bound by the chivalric code and desperate to showcase their wits over mere brute force, accepted the challenge. Thus began the most consequential chess game in history, which centuries later would be immortalized in song and story. The game was set in the grand hall of a neutral monastery, stripped of ostentatious decoration to maintain solemnity. Intricately carved pieces lay on a board built with precision, each square ready to play its part in the unfolding drama. As both leaders made their opening moves, a silent agreement passed between them, the realization of the power they held: to choose war or peace. The tense atmosphere was palpable, as powerful moves were countered with ingenious strategies. Knights rushed forward, bishops held fort, and the rooks stabilized borders, mirroring the turbulent politics of the land. En route to their royal objectives, they each began to appreciate the significance of their moves, not just on the board, but in the annals of history. As the hours wore on, the metaphor of war played out in serene silence, witnessed by wise advisors and a few privileged nobles. The board was a battlefield, the room a chamber of silent power, where destiny was rewritten at the tip of a pawn. Finally, it came to a breathtaking climax. Alfonso, deliberating between a gamble that mirrored the bold invasions of his campaigns or a defensive strategy. Philip, in turn, carefully calculated his tactical retreats and advances. Rodrigo, watching from the sidelines, sensed that perhaps, for the first time, There was more honor in an accord than in conquest. The game drew to a captivating end, a stalemate. Yet this result was monumental. In medieval terms, a refusal to defeat was as honorable as a clear victory, a symbol of equality and mutual respect. Both kings shook hands, not over ruined lands, but over a shared love of the game. In a world where power was defined by conquest, King Alfonso and King Philip made history by choosing intellect over arm. Their game of chess became a legendary tale of how simple pieces on a board once changed the trajectory of nations. Through their enlightened decision to let a game decide their fate rather than bloodshed, these kings paved the way for future diplomacy, illustrating that sometimes the most formidable battle is fought not with might, but with minds. Chess remained a diplomatic tool in course across medieval Europe, a testament to its unexpected power. And history reminds us that in a world guided by intellect and empathy, even the humblest pawn in a grand game can tip the scale of peace. So next time you set up a chessboard, remember you're not just playing a game. You're echoing a moment when the tides of history turned with each decisive move.